what to do if you are afraid of presenting your work. And when I say afraid of presenting your work, I don't necessarily mean the fear of public speaking, but more this feeling of discomfort when you're assigned a task to present your work to other people. So I want to really dig a little bit deeper in what is the underlying fear. Like, what are we really afraid of when we say that we don't like giving presentation, that we are better working behind the scenes and leave the scene, the public speaking to someone else? What is it that we are really afraid of? And from my experience, it's usually this fear of making a mistake and not explaining your work correctly. Like, there are so many things that can go wrong, and you are then saying, okay, I just don't want to work with that. I prefer someone else to do it. So what people usually do is, okay, I just don't want to do it. Public speaking isn't for me, or presenting is not something that I enjoy, therefore I will never do it. And you just somehow avoid exposing yourself, and you're like, okay, let someone else do that. However, the real solution to do that is, of course, finding the cause of that. Like, what are you really afraid of? And from my experience, people are usually afraid of the process of designing the presentation, of designing the talk or the report or whatever it is. Really, it doesn't matter in which way you are explaining your work. What the problem is here is that people are really scared or feel overwhelmed by the decision making, because more often than not, our projects are super complex, especially in STEM, in science, data science. Like, they are engineering, they're like endless. They have so many things that they cover, and there's so many details and so many paths. So how do we make sense to all of that? And it makes sense that this decision making feels overwhelming. Like, what do I put where? Where do I even start from? How do I even design it? And from the work that I do with my clients, I see that that's the underlying discomfort. That's the underlying fear. Not so much the fact of having to present it, because once you know what needs to be presented, you are likely going to deal with it in some way. Of course, there are many techniques of public speaking, but what's behind that? This is what I want to address today. And that's overwhelm of what goes where, and how do I even make it make sense to others if it doesn't even make sense to me, if it in my head feels like a bunch of random mess. How do I do that? So that's the underlying issue. What can we do? What's the solution to that? So the solution to that is, if we are assigned with a task, even though we don't like it, but we have to do it. We all have those situations, like at least once a year you have to do a progress report or something. How do we address it? How do we make it less uncomfortable? How do we make it easier for us? So one way to do it is to really think about the presentation beforehand. Like, think about the structure beforehand. Because if you see what is the underlying overwhelm about, it's usually because of this decision making. So if we can remove the decision making from the actual slide making, like uncouple those things, it becomes much easier, because you make all of the decisions before, and then you just make like the slides and make sure it matches some presentation, like some physical thing. So how do we make sure that this decision-making process works? So the first question that I would suggest, in order to find some order in this mess and all of this data that we have, is to really ask yourself, what do these people care about? Like, the people that are going to read this, that are going to listen to this talk, what is it that they need to know? What do they care about? Do they care about the margins? Do they care about the efficiency of the algorithm? Do they care about the result? Do they care about the process? Like, what is it that they care about? And just by answering this super, super simple question, you will already get sense of what are the important things and what are the things that are not so important, and you can just remove it or avoid it from your talk. Because, of course, another constraint is that we usually have a quite short period of time, like 15 minutes, and then you have to explain 1 year of work in 15 minutes. So there are a lot of things that you have to remove, and just a few things that you can actually go deeper in. So that's the first question. And this will already allow you to get some structure And the good thing about this question is that you can keep asking it. So once you say, okay, about my project, what do these people need to know about my project? And then you say, okay, they need to know this, this, and this. Okay, but now, what do they need to know about this, this, and this? And so on. So you just keep reiterating the same question, and I promise you, it is really going to guide you into the right direction. And it is much less likely that you will feel lost by having this plan of what is it that you're supposed to say, how, and when. Of course, it sounds super easy and super straightforward when I explain it this way, but one thing is knowing how it should be done, and the other thing is to actually apply it and actually do it. And this is exactly what we do in my coaching program. So we take your work and we go step by step and structure it so it makes sense. We do it together and we apply. So it's an iterative process. We work together on it, then you propose what works for you, and then you get the feedback and so on. So it's something that is really hands-on. It's something that is really, really tangible. And I found that this works quite well because the only way to actually learn how to do something is to apply it, is to try. And what I offer in my coaching program is exactly that, a safe space in which you can do that and develop that skill. So in case you are interested in something like that and you feel that you need some support with your communication skills, I will leave a link down below in which you can schedule a completely free discovery call with me where you can share your challenges, your specific issues that you're facing communication-wise in your STEM career, and we can see how I can help you and if we are a good fit to work together. So I hope you found this video useful and see you in another video. Bye bye.